Namaste friends, welcome to Shyampat. I am Amrit Pandey and now I am going to teach you Class 5 Science Lecture 1 Plants. Sorry, my marker has fallen down. So, before starting the lesson, I am going to tell you that what are plants? Plants are the combination of many things such as leaves, roots, stems, branches, etc. etc. So now let's start our first term. It's reproduction in plants. So before moving to reproduction in plants, I'm going to tell you what is reproduction. So I'm writing the definition of reproduction here and I'm coming back after writing. So students, here is the definition of reproduction. So the producing of a living organism of the same kind is known as reproduction. So you can pause the video and write this. So friends, now let's move to reproduction in plants. So simply, what is reproduction in plants? If we talk about reproduction in plants, then we will get many ways like reproduction through seeds, etc. So there are 4 ways of reproduction in plants. They are spores, through leaves, through stems, and through seeds. Sorry, I told something wrong there. So these are the main types of reproduction in plants. So now let's move towards the germination of seeds. But before that, I'm going to explain these all. So first of all, spores. Spores are very small thread type things which are present on the flowers, and as they fall down or they are dispersed, so at the place that spore is fallen, it grows there as the same species of plant. So now before going to another topic, I'm going to tell you that what is dispersal. The spreading and scattering of seeds away from the parent plant is known as dispersal. So now let's go to leaves. How do plants reproduce by leaves? There are some plants like Brophyllum that reproduce by leaves. So simply, if it is dispersed by air by humans, so wherever it falls, then it grows there. So now let's come to the stems. For instance, if we take a rose, then it can reproduce by stems. If we cut some portion of portion of the stem of rose and then plant it somewhere, so it will grow in a new rose plant. And now finally, seeds. Everyone knows that if we sow some seeds and take advanced care of it, then first of all a sprout will come out, then gradually it will be big, and once it will become a tree, its stem would be thick, and it will not be called in stem, it will called be trunk. So now let's come to germination of seeds. So germination is the process. You note it down. I'm dictating it slowly. Okay. So germination is this process. Is the process by which a seed produces. Is the process by which a seed produces a baby plant or seedling. Yes, I'm repeating it once again for your facility. Germination is the process by which a seed produces a baby plant or seedling. So now let us study the conditions required for a seed to germinate. Yeah. If we have to make a seed germinate, then we have to take some advanced care of it. As if we have sown a seeds, then we have to water it regularly. And if a seed needs to be germinated, it needs the proper amount of sunlight, air, water. Yeah. So now this was our germination. Now let's come to reproduction by other plant parts. I have already told you spores and spore stem seeds. So now let's come to reproduction from roots. Some roots which when planted in soil grow into new plants. Sweet potato and carrot are example of such roots. Let us understand this once more, but in some different kind of way. If we take potato, so it's a kind of root which comes from means farming. Now let's come to again seed dispersal, means ways of seed dispersal. There are 4 ways of seed dispersal, means many ways, like dispersal by wind, dispersal by water, dispersal by humans and animals, dispersal by explosion. So first of all, let's study about dispersal by wind. So in dispersal by wind, the spores of plant, or whenever it storms or the wind blows, then it takes the spore from one place to another, and drops it somewhere, and if that place is very nutritious, then the plant will grow properly of the same species. Now let's come to dispersal by water. Whenever it rains or it floods, so the spores just get flowed away by water. So this was dispersal by water. Now let's come to dispersal by humans and animals. So what is dispersal by humans and animals? For instance, if we eat watermelon, the seeds come in our mouth and we throw them here and there. So like this, we also help in the dispersal. And animals, some spores stick with the body parts of the animals and then they drop somewhere. So like this, humans and animals help in the dispersal. Now the last one, dispersal by explosion. There are some plants that explode, or in other sentence, we can say that dispersal by ballistics. So before moving, I am going to tell you what is ballistic. Ballistic means the firing of something, means just suddenly. So in dispersal by explosion, we can take an instance of poppy seeds. Poppy opens like a dispersal, means explosion. Then it sounds and the seeds disperse here and there away from the plant. So now we have completed our dispersal topic also. Now let's come to agricultural crops. Agriculture is the practice of growing crops and raising of animals for food and other purposes. So friends, I have told you the definition of agriculture. Now let's know why governments are promoting agriculture and why is agriculture important. If there would be no agriculture, then what would happen? The starvation would spread everywhere. Before moving, I'm again going to tell you the meaning of starvation. Starvation means in Hindi we say bhukmari. Yeah. So this was in agriculture and crops. Now let's come to kinds of crops. There are 3 kinds of crops: fiber crops, food crops, and oilseed crops. So first, discuss about food crops. What are food crops? Food crops are crops that are grown for food. Okay, means the crops that we eat. Yes, so friends, food crops are crops that are grown for humans and animals. So the daily things that we use in our kitchen, like rice, wheat, maize, cereals, pulses, are kinds of food crops. Now let's come to fiber crops. Fiber crops are crops that give us fibers. To make something strong, like cotton. Cotton is also a fiber crop. In fiber crops, cotton, jute, hemp are examples of fiber crops. Now let's come to oilseed crops. The crops which are grown to obtain oil from them are called oilseed crops, such as mustard, etc. Mustard, groundnut, and soybean are instances of oilseed crops. Now let's study about 2 kinds of food crops. They are kharif crops and Rabi crops. So the cropping season for Kharif crops is from May to June to October. The crops are sown in summer, May to July, and harvested in late summer or early winter, July to October. The major Kharif crops of India include cereals, in cereals, rice, maize, sorghum. Sorghum is also known as jowar. Pearl millet is also known as bajra, and finger millet, ragi or mandua. Now in pulses, green gram or moong and arhar, which we say arhar dal. That's. And now oil seeds. Oil seeds we already know: soybean and groundnut. So let's know about Rabi crops. The cropping season means is in the season in which the Rabi crops are grown. That is from October to March or April. The crops are sown in early winter or late summer, October to December, and harvested in spring or early summer, March to April. So now this is our last topic, caring for crops. So if we need to get healthy crops, so we need to take good care of them. So here are some steps. I'm telling you some steps for a healthy growth of crops. The healthy growth of crops are manures and fertilizers. Manure and fertilization means they are some chemicals used to make the soil fertile. That's why it's named fertilizers. So manures and fertilizers should be used to fertilize the soil, and pesticides and insecticides should be used to kill the pests and insects. But before moving, I'm telling you what are pesticides and insecticides. Some chemicals are sprayed on crops. So pesticides are the chemicals which are sprayed on crops to kill the pests. Now what are insecticides? Insecticides are also some chemicals that are sprayed on crops to kill the insects which harm the crops. Good quality seeds should be sown at appropriate distance from each other, and dispersal of seeds is very necessary for healthy growth of crops. Crops should be sprayed with insecticides and pesticides to keep them free from pests, I'm telling again. And the crop to be grown should be selected after studying the conditions. So this was the video. Namaste. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.